Welcome back to Pepper and Friends. You met him just a minute ago. We've been talking about it. The big day is here. Alex Trebek in town, host of Jeopardy. As always, it is a pleasure to have you on our show.
Happy to be here.
Talk a little bit about Jeopardy. You've been doing that program for the past 10 years.
10 years. This is our 10th year on the air. And we have, for the past 10 years, been #2 in syndication after Wheel of Fortune. It's a more popular show. In the Central Time Zone, there is just 1/2 hour of access time. And that means they usually get it, and we wind up leading into the local newscasts rather than leading out and going into prime time.
Your show is immensely popular here.
Yes.
The calls that were coming in and the letters when they find out Alex Trebek was going to be in town, phenomenal.
Well, there are people, as I mentioned on the news last night, there are bright people in every part of the country. And bright people enjoy showing off their intellectual skills. If you know something, you would like other people to know that you know that, so that they can be impressed by you.
You feel that's why the show is so popular?
That's one of the reasons. In recent years, another very important reason, I suspect, is the amount of money that can be won. In our first year on the air, in 1984, the average winnings per show was about $7,000. Then the following year it went up a little to $8,000. As people got more used to us and understood the format, because we'd been off the air for about 10 years, they said, hey, maybe I should try out. So we started attracting brighter people all the time. And even though the material is every bit as difficult, and some people think our material now is more difficult than it was 10 years ago, our winners are averaging about $10,000, $12,000 per victory. So that's not bad.
How many contestants do you go through in a year?
On the air, if you figure we do 230 shows and we have 3 contestants, there's 1 repeat, we're going about between 400 and 500 contestants per year. And that is just about 3 or 4% of all the people who try out for the program. So there are an awful lot of people who want to try out for the show.
And what have we got? About 600 or 700 people that are going to try out this weekend for Jeopardy.
Yeah, they'll take the, as Irene indicated earlier, she has taken the test in the past. This is a little different now. In order to accommodate more people, we give them a mini test to start off with. And the mini test is 10 questions long. And those who score at least a 7 on that get to come back and take the kind of test that Irene took.
Oh, so did Irene already pass the first test?
No, this is something new for us.
Oh, okay.
In order to accommodate more people, because it was very difficult. I'll give you an example. In Vancouver, British Columbia, a few years ago, we were testing, I believe, 325 people. That's all we had room for. And the television station received 105,000 postcards and letters. Now, there were 5 people who were responsible for about 60 to 70,000 of those cards. They had all their friends write in. They had school kids as a project sign all these cards and send them in. But a lot of folks want to try out. So to make it available to as many people as possible, we do the mini test now.
Now, are the people, when the weekend is over, are they going to know if they won and they're actually going to be on Jeopardy, or do you just have to wait to see if they get called?
By law, we are not able to guarantee anyone that he or she will wind up on the program. But we can tell you, for instance, hey, you passed the test, and we'll probably be calling you sometime in the fall or next winter. And if we don't call you, it's only because in all of the other testing that we do around the country, we wind up with players that we feel might be better for our show than you. So if you haven't heard from us in 10 months, say, try again next year.
Yeah, but let me put in a personal good word there for Irene. She's very funny. She'd be a good contestant on the program.
Seniors turn.
Seniors turn. I'm eligible for the seniors tournament. Anyone over 50 is eligible for the seniors tournament.
Do people have to pay their own way out, or
Yes,
does the
they
show
do.
pay for it?
No.
So there's no guarantee. I mean, they come out, they may walk away with nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But they'll have a great experience. They'll have been on Jeopardy, a half hour on television, seen by 20-some million people for their half hour, and hopefully it'll be a great experience. If they have embarrassed themselves, it really doesn't seem to matter. I got a call once from a lady in Chicago who had done very poorly on the program. She had finished in 3rd place, and her show is seen on WLS in Chicago, and they air us in the afternoon, and it's on an ABC affiliate, and ABC affiliates run after-school specials, and we were preempted on the day her appearance was supposed to be shown. And boy, was she ticked, even though she hadn't done well on the program. She says, I've got all these people coming over to my house.
And they preempted my show.
They preempted my show.
So
and
what'd they do?
Well, she was so upset. She says, you guys ought to pay my way out, refund my travel expenses, and do this. I talked to her for a while. I managed to calm her down, and we sent her a tape. And I said, why don't you have a nice party, an evening party, invite all your friends over and show them the tape. And
So
she
did
was
that
happy
work?
about it. She was in tears. And she hadn't done well on the program at all. But her half hour on national television was very important to her. And she wanted her friends to see her.
19 countries. You're on in 19 countries around the world. Is that correct?
I'm not sure what it is because our show is carried by Armed Forces Television. And so we're seen in a lot of countries. For instance, we're seen in Korea. We did a contestant search on the American bases in Korea, and I was walking in Seoul, one of the shopping districts, and Koreans were coming out of their shops and pointing at me and saying, oh, Alex Trebek, I'll watch you on Jeopardy. I learn English. And I said, oh, that's amazing. I didn't realize that in Korea, for instance, Armed Forces Television broadcasts over the air, so anybody can pick you up. But we're seen in a lot of other countries, and we're also franchised. There's a French version with their own host. There's a German version with their own host, too, who does the show. Strange Jeopardy in Germany. They're going to change it this year, but for Final Jeopardy, they had the contestants standing in front of the audience with earphones on so they wouldn't hear each other and they wouldn't be able to hear any prompting from the audience, and they had blinkers the way horses do in thoroughbred racing, so they couldn't look at what the next contestant was writing down. But as I say, they're going to change that. They did a pilot on our set about a month ago.
Well, we look forward to seeing you on Jeopardy every day, 5 o'clock on KOMU.
Good.
Alex, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Why don't you stick around to the end of the show?
Okay.
All right, take a break. We got the Kids Corner coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us as Pepper and Friends continues Jeopardy at 5 o'clock today.